Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services.
This show focuses on sharing good news and powering the good in our community. Now here's your host, City Current CEO, Jeremy Park.
Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And that's why we're excited to highlight Operation Warm. We're here with their development director, Anna Stoiber. Anna, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You all are doing tremendous good. This is much more than a coat, which we'll dive into here in a second in terms of missionally. But give us a little bit of background. Give us some history for Operation Warm.
Sure, absolutely. So Operation Warm was founded in 1998 by Dick Sanford with 58 coats in just outside of Philadelphia, where we're based. He saw some kids who weren't ready for school in what he considered the right coats. And so he went and bought those coats at a local retailer. He took that idea and that concept to his local Rotary. In the year 2000, his Rotary gave away 2,000 coats, and we've been on a journey to 7 million coats since then.
And so when you look at coats, that's obviously the foundational part, but it's also now shoes and sports bras. And so talk about the evolution for Operation Warm.
Yeah, absolutely. Our local community partners told us right around 2020 that shoes would make a really big impact for the kids in their programs that we were already providing coats to. So we looked at what we were doing. We talked to more of our partners, and we realized that launching an athletic shoe would be a great addition. So now kids are equipped with a brand new coat, a pair of shoes, and that evolution changed a little bit even in the last few years. And those pairs of shoes now come with 2 pairs of socks. So we know that these kids are really outfitted and ready to go. And you mentioned our sports bra program, which again, another essential item for young girls participating in sports, and not just participating in extra sports, but even just in middle school gym class. So we launched that program in 2023 and have seen some really great momentum building from it as well.
Talk about the youth and those you serve. So give us a little bit of an illustration around the stories of the individuals, the youth who you have a chance to serve.
For sure. So our wish list is a direct connection to local organizations who are supporting children in their communities. These are beneficiary programs, typically nonprofits, Title I schools, where the families and children are at or below, this 150% of the federal prescribed poverty level. There's an urgent need there for all kinds of things. And usually the things that are first and foremost given are clothing, food, and shelter. And where Operation Warm comes in is that extra basic need of garments.
So let's go ahead and talk about how the magic happens, because you work across the state of Tennessee. You've got a number of partnerships, both corporate and with the First Lady's office as well. And so talk about the effort in Tennessee, and then we'll talk about how it all happens.
Yes, the effort in Tennessee is incredible. We have some great partnerships with organizations you've all heard of: FedEx, Subaru, Downey, International Paper. Smaller companies, or I should say like firefighter organizations, Oak Ridge, Wilson County firefighter departments have been providing coats and shoes to kids throughout the communities for many years. And in the last 2 years, over 25,000 pairs of shoes and coats were given to kids in Tennessee. And these programs are all really rooted in the volunteerism of the programs that they're serving. So volunteers from all of those organizations I mentioned get to provide an opportunity and like a moment of connection with kids. They show up to these hosted events where there's all brand new, colorful coats and shoes laid out, and kids have the option to look for what, they're deeming their current favorite color, try those items on, know that it's new, it's theirs, reach for the sky, make sure those sleeves fit, and give themselves a big hug. And of course, put on a pair of shoes and see how high they can jump and how fast they can run. And they get to take that home. And that moment of connection with the volunteer really sparks a moment of joy for both the volunteer and the kid, who realize that someone in their community really cares about them and is there that day showing up to help them have that experience.
And those moments really are impactful on both sides, just like you're talking about, for the volunteers and obviously for the kids as well. Let's touch on the logistics to bring all this to life, because when you talk about kids and shoes and coats, you have to match up with the right sizes, right? And so there's a little bit of a science to this in terms of planning ahead and the logistics of making all this happen. So talk about how it works.
This is a great question. So I mentioned we've been doing this since 1998. That, science has really evolved with us throughout that time. We have an algorithm that helps us distinguish what the anticipated size, colors, and needs would be of, say, an elementary school with 300 students. So we can get pretty close. We, of course, manage for some wiggle room on either end, but every kid that would show up that day would absolutely get to leave with a coat or pair of shoes. And we ship those garments directly to our partners. And we do that through our partner, FedEx, of course. So I love to say that we get to go wherever FedEx goes. And in that capacity, it means we can help rural communities, which is also an area that a lot of communities are looking to support with just different abilities than like a city center. So those organizations are typically on our wish list, like I mentioned, telling us about the kids that they're already serving. And our operations team can put all those numbers together and make sure we get them the right amount of coats and shoes that they need based on the support that we're getting from those partners that we mentioned.
Yeah, and this will lead us into the sponsorships and the underwriting and some of that, especially on, being a nonprofit. Yeah. Touch on when you talk about how much lead time, the prep time, how much, when you talk about like a school of 300, what that looks like in terms of underwriting that. So give us some of the business side, so to speak, of putting all this in motion, and then we'll start talking about how the community can support your efforts.
I love that, Jeremy. So for our corporate partnerships who are planning events, right now we're gearing up for like back to school season, as you can imagine. And I hate to say it, but we're getting close to fall and like the weather will turn quickly. And that's when everyone's ready to do an event. So for a full service event that I mentioned with like the magic, it's usually about 6 weeks of planning time. Our team will do all of the heavy lifting if a partner has the ability to support the donation for the coats or shoes. We also have the ability to direct ship. So that means that there isn't an event planned, but that a local community organization can get coats and shoes directly to them. And those kinds of donations we can make and ship to rather quickly. But when you're talking about that full service event and a partnership that needs to happen, it's really like 6 to 8 weeks planning time, just so everyone has the event that they deserve.
Dive into then how the community can support, because you've got obviously the volunteer side, you've got the corporate side, the FedExes, the international papers. I mean, obviously the shipping piece of that is one component, but the financial gift to be able to do this and bring this to life is really important. And obviously for individual donations and beyond. So touch on the many different ways the community and especially the corporate side can activate through Operation Warm.
Yeah, so the easiest way to determine which partner you should talk to at Operation Warm, myself included, is to visit our website, because you mentioned it, right? We have corporate partners, we have community foundation partners, individual partners. I mentioned if you're a small Rotary Club or fire department who want to do your own fundraising, we have supports for all those kinds of essentially donations or programs that are coming in to help you serve a program, whether it's to individually support 5 kids with 5 coats or 500 kids with 500 coats and 500 pairs of shoes. So we have partners who can help with that kind of donation or commitment across the board. And then, of course, we have our own volunteer programs. We have a community impact volunteer program if someone wants to get more involved and potentially help us host an event. Operation Warm is a nonprofit. You mentioned that, of course, and we're a pretty lean team. We're not based in Tennessee, but we have a lot of action there. So if we had impact volunteers who were essentially an extension of us living in Tennessee, they could help us at those magical events that I mentioned earlier.
Touch on that aspect, because, and I love the fact that you mentioned too, like from 5 to 500. So when you talk about, okay, what does capacity look like? What's the minimum? What's the maximum? If, I'm with an organization that wants to do this, I think you make it very, very easy, just like you're talking about. But Absolutely. Talk about kind of that piece of it is, okay, here's, for you, being a group, here's how you can fund it. Here's how you can activate through Operation Warm. Here's how you can make all of this happen. So give us a little bit of that kind of, you mentioned obviously the lead time, but just a little bit of how that looks for somebody who says, I want to be a part of this. I want this to happen in my area. I've got a school or a nonprofit in mind. What are those next steps?
Love it. Okay. So I mentioned an individual. You can make a $25 donation, and that is one coat or one pair of shoes, which is incredible. And we'll take all of those, especially for our School Ready campaign. As we scale upward, as you mentioned, say an after school program, there's 50 kids. Those same numbers apply, right? So 25 times 50 for coats or shoes for that after school program. Again, you can go to operationwarm.org. You can start a fundraising page. Our systems will support all of that for you. So you really just say, I want to fundraise. You can set your own goal. And then our team does the same thing. When you're done fundraising, say you fundraise $5,000, you can tell us we're done, and we can ship those coats or shoes directly to that school, nonprofit, or to your office. Maybe you're handing them out yourself, Jeremy. So, if it's in your storage closet, great. Then we can do that. So that's where those smaller programs come in. And then those much larger programs, of course, have program managers and that logistical component that take that 6 weeks. But really, if you and your book club, if you and, your Rotary Club want to set a goal and do that, we can really help you with all kinds of toolkits and online support systems so you can share QR codes and visuals. And our community managed partners are a huge part of what we do. Those are typically, like I said, Rotaries, fire departments, other coat and shoe organizations maybe you heard of could be getting their coats and shoes directly from us. So we would love to partner with organizations, like I said, the full scale. And every, donation does make an impact, and it truly is one coat on a kid, or maybe 1,000 coats on 1,000 kids.
Give us an idea of what the feedback is from the FedExes and the international papers, and even the First Lady of Tennessee when you look at working with her office, Maria Lee. So what is that feedback from their end look like for you?
So I guess I can't give you a quote off the top of my head. I do know that our corporate team gets to brag about 100% of our corporate volunteers say they would want to participate in an Operation Warm event again, which is incredible because they're having this amazing day, this amazing connection. Whether it's the First Lady of Tennessee, Maria Lee's office, or say FedEx, huge partnerships and names that people have heard of, they come back, right? They come back to Operation Warm because of what we do and that connection that we can make together. So our teams work really hard to make sure that those events go well and that those partnerships are significant and meaningful to us. So they're meaningful to us as well as the kids in those programs. So, so many of our partners enjoy the work that they get to do with us, and we love making it happen, whether it's big or small. A fire department versus like a corporate like FedEx, but both organizations will still tell us they'd love to participate again and again.
Well, it also comes back to the individual connections, the relationships, the, individuals, the volunteers being able to serve the youth and, come into contact with each other and build relationship with each other and share love together. And I think that's where building community really starts, because yes, it's a coat, it's shoes, it's a sports bra, but it's also the start of something together in terms of a relationship in your community. Carry that into then the feedback from the schools and the youth and the other nonprofits you have a chance to work through with Operation Warm. So what does that feedback look like?
That feedback's awesome. It's my favorite, behind the scenes quotes to look at and read and see thank you notes from kids that you'd see, teachers talking about how important it is, the energy that they feel from their students on coat day. I can share all kinds of great content with you guys so you can see the smiles. What really makes a difference for a lot of these kids is the newness factor. I don't know if we touched on that, but everything is manufactured and it's new. And so for some of the kids who are in pretty serious situations, this might be the first time they had something brand new just for them. And it means a lot. And it means a lot for school attendance. It means a lot for playing in the right conditions, focusing in class. Can you imagine sitting in class with shoes that don't fit right and that being a real distraction for you? And even just the confidence it brings when you're thinking about having something brand new, feeling good about what you're wearing, and being able to bring that smile when you have that item and you know it's yours. One of the tables at our events, kids get to write their names in their coats. So it's part of this like full circle, right? You walk in and you're a little hesitant maybe to start. And by the end, you are very confident in what you're taking home is yours. So we have incredible feedback from teachers and of course students in those moments, and schools that are so grateful that we were able to give all of the kids at their school a brand new item on one of these gifting days.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that again as the new. It's a new coat, which does make a big statement. And so carry that into one more thing that you wish everyone knew about Operation Warm.
Gosh, even with like the sports bras, right? So like we're really looking to hear the community and understand those needs. And that's important for us to keep what we're doing, new and fresh, and make sure that we're hearing the community. So I think that's really important. Like we do listen to the feedback we get about our coats, about our shoes, about the programming at those events. So, I would love for anyone who can make a donation, big, small, host a program this year. Give us your feedback on the products that you see, the programming that we share with you to set up your event and make it really impactful. So it's really part of like the innovation of, which is one of our core values. And it's really important for us to like hear that from the community and make those changes as we look to improve our product and operations and all of that. Just like any large company, we want to be as efficient and impactful as possible.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up. So let everyone know where they can go, website, social media. Where do we go to connect in and get involved with Operation Warm?
OperationWarm.org. You hit the nail on the head there, Jeremy. Most of our social handles, I think, are the same place, Operation Warm. We've got this great orange color, so you'll know it's us, smiling kids' faces on all of those. You can donate, you can partner with us and connect with us if you had another idea or a connection that you'd like to make. We'd love to hear from you.
Well, Anna, thank you for all you and your amazing team do to power the good. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Jeremy. Have a great day.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the City Current Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.